This tutorial reviews UHGmail and addresses ways to use this emailing platform. UHGmail is a very important part of communication within the University of Hawaii system, and this in particular is true for online students. It's key for all online students to understand how to utilize this particular software, as UHGmail is students' official communication channel with the University of Hawaii system and Honolulu Community College. Because of this, instructors will likely use students' UHGmail emails to contact them, as well as other divisions at Honolulu Community College. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at using your UH username and password to log into web interfaces for your UHGmail. We're also going to be looking at reviewing how you can forward your mail from your UHGmail account to another email address. And we'll also learn a bit more about the different features of UHGmail. So let's get started. We'll begin by discussing your UH username. Your UHGmail email is comprised of your UH username with the phrase @hawaii.edu tacked at the end. For example, if a student's username was jdoe, then the student's UHGmail would be jdoe@hawaii.edu. Here's a great example of that. When you log into UH's online tools, you'll need to know your UH username and your UH password, because if you try to access UH tools, you'll be directed to the University of Hawaii web login page, shown in this picture. You'll need to enter your UH username and password. Note that passwords are case sensitive, which means that capitalization is critical. Do you know what your UH username is? If you don't or can't remember, you can simply look at your Honolulu Community College acceptance letter. Can't find your letter? You can also contact Honolulu Community College's registration office to work on retrieving your UH username information. If you've forgotten your password, simply click Forgot Password, and you should be prompted with a few different questions, and so you're able to retrieve your password. Let's move on to UHGmail. Now, the web address, also known as URL, to log into UHGmail is gmail.hawaii.edu. Note that while you're using your UHGmail account, it may look very similar to a gmail.com interface. It's important to understand that the two are completely separate accounts with different features. Now that we've covered some general information on your UH username and UHGmail, I think it's time to explore. If you need to, you're welcome to stop the video and restart it as many times as needed while we work through this tutorial. The first thing I'd like you to do is either open a Firefox browser, a Safari browser, or a Google Chrome browser. After you've opened at least one of these browsers, I'd like you to enter the URL found on the screen, which is gmail.hawaii.edu. After you've entered in the web address, go ahead and press Enter on your keyboard or select Search on your web browser search bar. Once you've found the UHGmail website, go ahead and type in your UH username and password and log in. You should now be viewing your own UHGmail inbox. I'm going to go ahead and click on that on my screen. Now that we're reviewing our UHGmail inbox, I want to direct you to a few important and different features in our UHGmail accounts. The first is composing messages. You'll find a button on the upper left-hand corner of your email box that's titled Compose. Go ahead and click on that Compose button. I'm going to do that too. Okay, so once you've clicked on the Compose button, you'll find that a new message box should pop up on your screen. You're welcome to pause the video here and practice. To access your new message, let's take some time to review the email message text box options. There are many different formatting options which are located at the very bottom of your new message box. If you type a message into your text box, you can click the buttons at the very bottom of your text box and explore the different text options. I'm going to go ahead and type in aloha. All right, so now that I've typed in my message, I am going to highlight that. Okay, so after I've highlighted my message, I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom here, and I'm going to click on Formatting Options, which is this capital A with an underline. After I've clicked on that, I have been given many different options. The first option that I'm going to click on is this sans serif. Now you'll note that this is a default text used for UH-Gmail messages. If you click on the sans serif's text box, then you can find many different fonts that you can change. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on wide. All right. Now, if we look to the right of our formatting box, we'll see a little t and a big T. If we click on that, that will give us sizing options. I can make my font bigger, or I can make my font very small. I'm going to go ahead and make my font huge. If we continue on, there are a couple other options. I can bold my font with the capital B. I can italicize my font with the italic I. I can underline my text or font with a U with an underline, and I can even change my text color. So if I click on that, let's choose maybe blue. Okay, so clearly my text has changed quite a bit from my original message. If we keep on checking out our buttons, there's an align option, and that will allow me to align a paragraph. So if I click on middle or center, or if I click on right, and then I'm going to click again on left. Now you'll notice that my font did change back to normal. So that is one thing that you have to be aware of, that your font will change if you do change the paragraph placement, and so you'll just have to return to the text size and select the appropriate text size you'd like. All right, there's a couple more features that I wanted to discuss. The next is the numbered lists and the bulleted lists. So this is numbers 1, 2, and 3 with lines, icon, and then also a bunch of dots and lines. These are just different types of lists. So I can number, I can have a bullet point with numbers, or I can choose a bullet point with dots. These next two paragraph-looking buttons or icons are indent. So if I would like to indent a passage or a portion of text, I can do that. And if I want to return that back to normal, I can just click indent less. Okay. Now we have quotation marks here, and that is an option that allows you to quote a certain portion of your text if you would like to. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. You won't notice much, but there is a faint line that's now been placed to the left-hand side of my text, and that indicates a quotation. All right, so there's one more feature here, and that's a capital T with a slash through it. That essentially means that you're removing formatting. So I'm going to highlight my entire aloha word here, and I'm going to click on that T with a dash. What I've just done is completely removed all of the formatting from my text, and I've made my text go back to what it looked like originally. So those are some cool features and options within our UH-Gmail account. A couple more options are to attach files. If you click on that button, a pop-up will show and you can select any type of file you want to attach to the document. If I want to maybe include a URL or a web address, but I don't want to paste in that long web address, I can highlight whatever word I want to make into a hyperlink, click on my link, and then go ahead and type in what my URL is. After I type in my URL, I press OK, and then voila, my text is hyperlinked. This button to the right of the hyperlink is the emoji. So if you'd like to include a smiley face, for example, you can do that, and there's a slew of other emoji options. Also, we have our insert files using Drive. If you have a file on your Google Drive that you'd like to share, you can simply click on that link, access your file, and load it into your new message. And last but not least, we have our insert photo icon. This icon allows you to insert photos or upload them to the new message tool and allow your recipients to check out a picture. Now, let's say I want to remove this message altogether. I can simply click the trash can icon here, which is the very, very far right-hand side of my screen, and that will delete my entire message. If I'm ready to send my message, I can simply type in my recipient's email and then click the send button. And that's a brief overview of some of the tools found in our Gmail account. All right, so now I think we're a little bit more familiar with some of our Gmail tools. Let's move on to learn a little bit more about how to forward UHG emails. Some students might be very comfortable using an email that they've used for many years, like a Yahoo, AOL, or MSN. If you'd still like to receive Gmail emails from an old email account, there's a way to do so without having to check your Gmail account every single day. You can simply forward those emails you receive from your Gmail account to a different email account altogether. In order to do so, you'll need to locate the gear-looking button, which is placed at the very top right corner of your screen. The gear button is the settings button. Once you find that button, go ahead and click on it, and there will be quite a few different options you can choose from. We want to click on the settings button. Now, after clicking on the settings button, we'll be taken to a page that contains lots of information about our email accounts. In order to forward your Gmail messages to a different email, you need to find on the settings menu the option that says forwarding and POP-IMAP. Go ahead and click on that. Now, the forwarding option should be the first option that you see on your page. If we want to add an email to forward all of our messages, we would simply click on the button Add a Forwarding Address. After clicking on that, we would be given the option to add a forwarding address. So I'm going to go ahead and use a very, very old email. So after I've done that, I've typed in my old email address, and I have the option to forward now my messages to that very old email address. If I click proceed, it will allow me to forward every email to my old email address. However, if I want to cancel, I can go ahead and do that as well. And so those are a couple tricks in how to forward your Gmail messages to your old email address. And that just about wraps up our brief tutorial on using Gmail. I think you're now ready to take on some practicing and exploring of this software tool. Congratulations! Don't forget to consistently check your Gmail messages for campus and instructor correspondence. Again, we covered a little bit more about Gmail, the different types of tools in our Gmail accounts, and also how to forward messages to an older email.